The diversity and evolution of the Apodiform order. Introduction. What is the Apodiforms order? The Apodiforms order is comprised of two suborders, the Apodi suborder containing the Apodidae family swifts and the Hemiprocnidae family tree swifts, and the Trochilidae suborder containing the Trochilidae family hummingbirds. Members of the Apodiforms order are characterized primarily by morphological similarities in the shape and proportions of the wing. For instance, the humerus, bone of the upper arm, is short, the hand is strikingly long, and the primary flight feathers attached to the hand are much longer than the secondaries attached to the forearm. The reason behind members of the Apodiforms order having such a peculiar wing structure is due to their lifestyle of spending the vast majority of their life on the wing. Another morphological similarity shared between the members of the Apodiforms order is having short legs and tiny feet, hence the very name of the order, as Apodiforms means footless in Latin. Why we chose to do a presentation on the Apodiform order. The Apodiforms Swift exhibit at the Oxford Museum of Natural History is particularly interesting as the museum tower is a nesting site for European swifts. And the colony there has been the subject of a research study since May 1947, making it one of the longest continuous studies of a single bird species in the world. The roof space above the library and main biosciences labs at the University of Gloucestershire Francis Close Hall is also a nesting site for swifts. The population at FCH is estimated to be around 40 to 50 pairs, which is even larger than the colony at the Oxford Museum of Natural History and is potentially nationally important, as the British population of swifts has declined by 51% between 1995 and 2015. The Apodidae family, swifts. Swift taxonomic classification. Swifts are part of the kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Reptilia, order Apodiforms, and family Apodidae. There are 19 genera and 96 species of swift. Swift morphology. There are currently approximately 96 species of swift in the world. However, swift classification at species and genus level is often the subject of much disagreement, as the distinguishing features of closely related species are often extremely subtle. Therefore, some ornithologists argue that there are more or fewer species. The most common way ornithologists distinguish swift species is through the morphological variation in tail conformation, size, position of the toes, and the amount of feathering on the legs. The swift's name is appropriate as the species includes the world's fastest flying bird in level flight, the white-throated needletail. Swifts owe their speed to their distinctive sickle-shaped wings, which are made up of 10 elongated primaries, allowing them speed and maneuverability in the air, while also providing an extremely efficient gliding flight. Having an efficient gliding flight is an essential adaptation for swifts, as they are an extremely aerial species and spend the majority of their life on the wing, even sleeping during flight. Therefore, energy-efficient flying is a necessity for their survival. Specialized wing structure of the Apodiform order. As can be seen in Figure 4, the different families within the Apodiform order have wing structures that have evolved to allow them to fill their niches. Swifts, shown in A, have sickle-shaped wings that allow for continuous gliding, allowing them to fly continuously without expending unnecessary energy. Tree swifts, shown in B, have less specialized wings for continuous flying, as unlike swifts, they have the ability to perch. Hummingbirds, shown in C, have wings that are folded inwards to reduce resistance and allow them to hover, which is essential for hummingbirds as they hover in place to drink flower nectar. Behavior traits of swifts. Migration. Swifts are one of the last migrants in summer. They usually arrive in late April to early May, and almost all depart by early August. This is because swifts require warm weather to survive, as their diet is made up entirely by flying insects. Due to this, swifts only spend about 3 months in the UK each year before making the return journey to Africa. Breeding habits. Swifts only land to breed or if they are faced with extreme weather. Therefore, in the time before they mature at 2 or 4 years age, depending on the exact species, swifts may not touch ground for 2 to 4 years. Some species of swift pair for life, meeting up every year at the same nest site, whereas other species will form new pair bonds each year. Nesting habits. Due to swifts' short legs, small feet, and large wings, they find it difficult to take off from a flat surface. Therefore, they will build their nests as high as possible in places such as hollow trees in their natural habitat and in chimneys and roofs in more urban settings so that they can fall into the air from the nest entrance. Swifts build their nests from debris they find floating in the air, such as grass feathers, paper, straw, hay, and seeds, and cement it all together with saliva. Some of the smaller species of swift build their nests entirely out of saliva, such as the edible nest swiftlet. In Southeast Asia, they use the nests as a base for the famous bird's nest soup of the Orient. Swifts are loyal to their nesting sites, therefore their nests will be returned to each year, being renovated when and where necessary for the rest of their lives. Evolutionary history of swifts. The Apodidae family is relatively diverse, with 19 genera and 96 species. As seen in Figure 7, swifts diversified from the Neo-Aves clade, as did most modern birds. The Apodiforms diversified during the Eocene period, at the end of which the extant families were present. As seen in Figure 7, the Apodiform order branches into 3 families, however 2 of the families branch off together while the last branches off by itself. This highlights that the Apodidae family and the Hemiprocnidae family are more closely related to each other, share a more recent common ancestor than they do with the Trochilidae family. The Hemiprocnidae family, tree swifts. Tree swift taxonomic classification. Tree swifts are part of the kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Reptilia, order Apodiforms, and the family Hemiprocnidae. There is 1 genera and 4 species of tree swift. Tree swift morphology. The tree swifts have a very similar body shape to a true swift, with long wings and a deeply forked tail. The key skeletal differences between a true swift and a tree swift are in the feet and head. In the feet there is a non-reversible hind toe allowing tree swifts to perch. The tree swift's head differs in the shape of the cranium and skeletal plate. They have far more colourful plumage than true swifts, with a shine on their feathers more like a swallow, despite not being closely related to swallows. They have an area of this down their side and passerine-like feathers. The order Passeriformes contains more than half all species of bird. The shape of their wings allows them to be very agile on the wing. This, along with a short beak and wide gape, allows swifts to hunt effectively on the wing. Their eyes are large and are used for locating prey both on the wing and when perched. Behavior traits of tree swifts. Unlike true swifts can perch and therefore do not hunt exclusively on the wing. They will sit alert on a perch that provides good all-round vision and can either snatch small winged insect items while still on the perch or make short flights from the perch to catch prey on the wing. The whiskered tree swift is not a social bird, unlike true swifts, and only comes into contact with other swifts during breeding season. This lasts from February to August, during which tree swifts pair up and produce a single chick. Adults can mate both on the wing and perched. The nest is only big enough to hold a single egg and is fragile, so the parents cannot place their full weight upon it or it will break. Instead, the parents will cover the nest with their chest feathers to incubate the egg. Both parents raise the chick from building the nest, incubating and feeding the chick. The chick then fledges at 1 week old, as the chick is now too big for the fragile nest to support it. The parents continue to feed the chick while it stays on a branch near the nest in the tree canopy. Exact time spans for each stage of reproduction are unknown, however all tree swifts will fledge the nest within 1 week of hatching. Tree swifts are not migratory birds, unlike true swifts, which take part in a yearly migration from the UK to Africa. Evolutionary history of tree swifts. The tree swift family, Latin name Hemiprocnidae, contains 4 different species. The mustached tree swift, the crested tree swift, the whiskered tree swift, and the grey-rumped tree swift. Tree swifts live in tropical forests throughout the Oriental region and some areas of Australia. They are very closely related to true swifts, but are also related to hummingbirds and nightjars. They occupy a similar niche to swifts and swallows in the UK. As insectivores, they balance insect populations within their range. The Trochilidae family, hummingbirds. Hummingbird taxonomic classification. Hummingbirds are part of the kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Reptilia, order Apodiforms, and the family Trochilidae. There are 115 genera and over 300 species of hummingbird. Hummingbird morphology. Hummingbirds are known for the humming sounds that their wings make when flying. The wings rotate in a figure-8 shape, allowing them to fly at higher speeds than other birds. Hummingbirds' specialized morphology. The hummingbird's diet includes nectar, sap, small insects, pollen, and sometimes ashes or sand. Their long and narrow tongue allows them to reach into flowers to access this nectar as well as other food. Trochilidae have a specialized tongue to extract nectar. The diagram shows that nectar is drawn up through grooves in the tongue and towards the mouth. The fluid is then trapped between lamellae in between the grooves in the tongue. This structure allows nectar to be released more easily from flowers. Behavior traits of hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are very intelligent in that they have larger brains and a better memory than other birds. They remember every flower in their territory, as well as the location of hummingbird feeders and the people that refill them. However, they are not very social birds, and they are not seen flying or migrating together. Male hummingbirds become aggressive if any other male enters their territory, as a way to compete for female hummingbirds. Female hummingbirds also don't allow males near their nest, so that predators aren't attracted towards it. Hummingbird migration. Most species of hummingbird are known to migrate annually, and this can be dependent upon a decrease in food availability or seasonal changes, such as temperature, weather, and sunlight. They migrate alone rather than in a flock and usually follow the same pattern as previous years. To prepare for migration, most hummingbirds consume more food and usually gain between 25% and 40% of their normal body weight, so that they have more energy for the journey. Each species of Trochilidae have a different migration pattern. For example, ruby-throated hummingbirds usually migrate to Central America in autumn, whereas black-chinned hummingbirds migrate to Mexico during winter. Evolutionary history of hummingbirds. Trochilidae are very diverse. There are over 300 species as shown in this phylogenetic tree. Hummingbirds live along the Western Hemisphere from the Caribbean to South America. Using DNA analysis, scientists found that swifts, tree swifts, and hummingbirds diversified from each other 70 million years ago. This was as a result of the movement of tectonic plates, one of which was South America, where some hummingbirds are known to live. Neoman says that most hummingbirds have become adapted to a range of habitats that have nectar that is readily available. This means that different species of hummingbird are specially adapted to different extreme conditions. Conclusion. Within the Apodiforms order, swifts and tree swifts are known to be more related to each other than to hummingbirds. However, in the past there has been some debate as to the classification of hummingbirds. The study of this taxon is relevant because recent studies suggest that global warming can affect the migration patterns and behavior of true swifts as well as hummingbirds. For example, Buermann says that hummingbirds are likely to shift upwards during flight as a result of climate change. Also, because of global warming, the migration of true swifts and hummingbirds has been shown to occur earlier than usual. The study of these changes in migration is